Hello, and well, that last video of the commander tier list I did not expect to do as well as it did. We're gonna end up doing, I guess, more of these. Fun fact, that video was like laying in my videos for like 2 weeks, and I just needed something to release that day. But here we are. We're going to go over the Abzan commanders that have been available in a sealed commander product. So either a secret layer deck or a regular Precon deck. And these are, one, just my opinion. Two, with the exception of the bad tier, is not a judgment on how good or bad a card is. The bad I just feel like is an unplayable card, either in the 99 or as the commander. And this is all subject to my opinion, which can be very, very wrong at times. All right, first one up is Kathril, Aspect Warper, which for 2, a white, a black, and a green, you get a legendary creature nightmare or insect. This is from one of the Korea Abzan deck. You get a 3/3 that says when this creature enters, put a flying counter on any creature you control if a creature in your graveyard has flying. Repeat this process for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance, and then put a 1/1 counter on Kathril for each counter put on a creature this way. This is seems to be a fun way to build both a graveyard focus deck and like a keyword soup deck. So you can get stuff like, I don't know, Zidalpa, Akroma, anything that has just a ton of keywords, and then you get big guy and he can swing in for commander damage, and I think it is an interesting build around. It's not a hyper focused on, it's not a generically good, but like it's, I think it's a cool build around. I haven't actually seen this played, which is surprising. I'm gonna say it's like like I said, a good build around. I'd be down to play this commander anytime. Next we have Tayam, Luminous Enigma, which for 1, a white, a black, a green, you get a 3/3 Nightmare Beast. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional vigilance counter on it. You can pay 3 and remove 3 counters from among creatures you control. And put the top, well, I guess it's just now mill 3, and then return a permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I know this is considered a CEDH card. Oh, and we are not judging these necessarily by CEDH standards because I do not play that format, and therefore I don't like know as much as I think I know about that format. But this is definitely a very powerful commander. I feel like if you are using this commander, you are on a higher pod. Like I don't expect a lot of 2s to be playing this. There's a lot of low mana value things that are really good. The fact that it's focused on low mana value means that you can't cheat big fat creatures, but it still is going to be giving you value, especially because if you revive a creature with its ability, that's also going to come in with a vigilance counter. And if you have a bunch of cheap things with counters on them, you could basically just chain this, like, as long as you have mana. I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to, you're definitely a higher power, so I'm going to probably put this in great. Next, we have one of the original Commander product commanders. We have Ghave, Guru of Spores, which is for 2, a black, a green, and a white. You get a 0/0 that enters with 5 1/1 counters on it, and you can pay 1 and remove a 1/1 counter from any creature you control to create a 1/1 green sapperling. and then you could pay 1 and sacrifice a creature and put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Abzan tends to want to do both of these things, and I don't think there's another commander that really does both of these things. I feel like there are better versions, but there aren't, if that makes sense. It's definitely been kind of like, I don't see this as much as I used to. Yeah, I'd say that this is still a solid choice, which is pretty impressive considering it is a 14-year-old card. So, yeah. I mean, this was also literally like the third Abzan commander we had access to. So I still think that this is an alright card. I'm gonna put it in alright for now. I should mention that this combos with a ham sandwich, like any doubling season effect, and like Ashnod's Altar, and you just like destroy everything. Well, not destroy it, but like you combo off. It combos very easily with any doubling effect. So I'm gonna probably put it in good, which again is kind of impressive considering how old the card is. Speaking of old cards, we have Karador, Ghost Chieftain. For 5 of black, green, and a white, you have a 3/4 that costs 1 less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard. And during each of your turns, you may cast 1 creature from your graveyard. You still have to pay any additional costs and mana value, but like, and this is almost never going to cost you 8 mana. Again, this was one of the earliest Abzan commanders we had access to, like even before the word Abzan was a term. I think we've got better versions of stuff like this. I think Nethroi would be considered a better version of this. I think it's still solid. Like, I would still probably consider this a good card, but like, I don't know. I feel like there are cooler things to do in Abzan, so I'm gonna like put this in niche. Again, niche doesn't mean bad. Actually, it's not niche because like it's still very broad and you can do whatever you like want with it. I'm gonna say it's all right. Yeah. Oh, uh, niche does not necessarily mean that it is bad. Niche means that uh, there's a very specific deck that wants this as the commander. Oh, and we also added another tier, Power Crept, which are cards that are definitely like not strong enough to be in the 99 anymore, but they're not actively bad. It's just like victims of time. And speaking of victims of time, this is why we have the Power Crept tier. Is Teneb was literally the first Abzan commander we had access to. It was before Commander was even really a solid format. For 3, a black, a green, and a white, you have a legendary dragon with flying, and it's 6/6. It's based off of a cycle of invasion dragons. Planar Chaos had the enemy wedge colors, and so they all have this. Whenever this card deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 and a single color of mana. In this case, it is black. And if you do, you get an effect. The effect of this one is you put target creature card from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. And I actually think that this is probably the most versatile of this cycle of dragons. But still, it is like, it doesn't have a way to easily connect. It is very telegraphed, and you're essentially paying 9 mana over 2 turns to revive a creature from either player's graveyard. Even at the time of release, you had cards that had just rotated out of standard, like Ink Eyes, which essentially did the same thing, but had ninjutsu instead of flying, and You couldn't revive from your own graveyard, but like it was also mono black. This is power crypt. It's not actively bad, like it, but like there's just no reason to like run this, I feel. Next we have a more recent card. I'm probably gonna mispronounce this. Anikthea, Hand of Erebos. For 2, a white, a black, a green, you get a legendary enchantment creature, Demigod. And it is a 4/4 with Menace. Other enchantment creatures you control have Menace, and when this card enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to 1 target non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard, create a token copy of it, except for it is a 3/3 black zombie, in addition to its other types. So we got kind of a reanimator enchantment, which is very, I actually didn't know this card existed, mainly because it was part of the Commander Masters commander decks, and those were like $80 to $90, and I do not have a lot of money to spend $80 to $90 on a deck. It's both cares about enchantment creatures, but it's also like doesn't care about enchantment creatures. You can build this as enchantment creatures, or you can just build this as enchantment revival. And I don't think we have another commander that's like this. I haven't seen a lot of people use this, but again, it was part of like a $90 deck. I want to say that this is good. Cause like there's no limit on it, just can't be an aura. You can just revive, I don't know, a Necropotence. Yeah, I think that this is a cool commander, so I'm gonna put it in good. Granted, I've never seen it used, so we're going to again, that's just my impression of the card. Next we have Narci, Fable Singer. For a generic, a white, a black, and a green, you get a human bard that's 3/3 with lifelink. And whenever you sacrifice an enchantment, draw a card. Whenever the final chapter ability of a saga you control resolves, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is that saga's mana value. So this is definitely a sagas matter kind of commander. That's pretty niche. Not that it's bad. I'm sure there's a lot of good sagas. Like I've run some pretty good sagas. And you're automatically replacing your sagas every time they get sacrificed, and then like you're gaining life. Oh, it's each opponent. Okay, well that's actually pretty neat. I still think it's niche, but that's only because sagas are still a fairly new. Oh, wow, they're actually probably about 8 years old. They're still a fairly new card type. This is niche, but it would, as time goes on, this will move up, probably skipping alright to be hitting good. It's just right now it's niche. Alright, next is Nethroi, Apex of Death. For 2, a white, a black, and a green, well, let's face it, we're never going to cast that because this card has Mutate. And the Mutate cost is 4, a green-white hybrid, and 2 black. And for that, you get a 5/5 Death Touch lifelink, and whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yes, this works with negative power creatures, so if you have like a -20 in your graveyard, this would then return any number of target creatures with total power 30, as long as you selected that. Oh, I should probably explain Mutate. Mutate is one of my least favorite abilities, simply because it was kind of a rules nightmare. If you cast this spell for its mutate cost, and yes, commander tax is applied to the mutate cost, Put it over or under target non-human creature you own. They mutate into a creature on top, plus all of the abilities of the cards under it. So, like, for example, if I were to mutate it on a 3/3 beast, if the 3/3 beast was on top, it would be the Death Touch, Lifelink, and the mutate trigger on a 3/3, or what. You kind of get it. There's more intricate rules with mutate that make it kind of obnoxious. Yeah, this card tends to be really good if the game lasts long enough to hit that mutate cost. Because usually it's just reviving the entire graveyard. So yeah, I can't just keep putting them in good. Well, next we have Bilbo, Birthday Celebrant. For a white, black, and green, you get a legendary creature, Halfling Rogue, that says whenever you would gain, it's a 2/3. Whenever you would gain life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead. And then you can pay 2 white, black, and green, tap and exile Bilbo, Birthday Boy. And you get to search your library for any number of creature cards, put them onto the battlefield, and then shuffle. But you can only activate this after you have 111 life or more. Which, I don't know a lot about Universes Beyond stuff, but considering Bilbo is celebrating his 111th birthday here, that's actually kind of cool. So obviously you're a life gain deck, but you also want a lot of creature cards to finish off a game. I want to say that it's alright. Again, usually the commanders from the Lord of the Rings decks, this is like the one that's not played out of the Hobbit deck. It tends to also run a lot of food tokens, which the halfling hobbits are good at with food. Like, it's a food synergy strategy. Yeah, I don't see this necessarily being a throw this in the 99. Like, if you're building this as the commander. I'm gonna say it's alright. I haven't really seen it much. I doubt you're going to get, like, that activated ability every game. But hey, life gain is kind of a cool strat. Alright, next is Ixhel, Scion of Atraxa. For 1, a white, a black, and a green, you get a legendary Phyrexian Angel. It's a 2/5 with Flying, Vigilance, and Toxic 2. This creature deals damage to players. It also gives them that amount of poison counters. So this would deal 2 damage to a player and also give them 2 poison counters. This is different than Infect. So I think Toxic is a balanced form of Infect. But it also has Corrupted. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent who has 3 or more poison counters exiles the top card of their library face down. You can look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and you may spend mana as though they were mana of any color to cast those spells. I think this is a interesting take on a poison commander, mainly because you are not seeking to necessarily eliminate people with this, because, like, if someone dies, they take all of their stuff back. So you want to, like, swing twice at a player, have them hit that 3 poison counters, and then go after another player. And so you got to kind of spread the poison around instead of just, like, bullying one player. The fact that it has Vigilance and a thick booty means you can also play it a little bit more defensively while also being swinging offensively. It's fairly cheap. My one problem with this card is poison, even though it's not necessarily broken in Commander, because you have to hit 30, you basically deal 30 points of poison damage, when instead you're kind of avoiding combat damage, where regular Magic you have to deal only 10 poison. It still attracts a lot of board hate people see the poison and they're like, I don't want to deal with that. And so you kind of get ganged up on. Uh, I don't think we're going to get a lot more poison support in the future. I mean, we will, but it'll take probably another 5-10 years. It's all right, but I think its main drawback is poison is going to be attracting a lot of haters. And I think poison is only really broken when it's like infect and you're doing stuff like Triumph of the Hordes, where you're winning with poison out of nowhere. It's also not blue, which has the unblockable poison stuff and the proliferate mainly. So I still think if you're gonna go more focused on poison, you'll probably go with Atraxa. But this is a cool. I do think this is one of the cooler infect, poison commanders out there. Speaking of poison commanders, here's the other commander of that deck, Vishgraz, the Doom Hive. For 2, a white, a black, and a green, you get a Phyrexian insect that is a 3/3 with menace and toxic 1. Players dealt combat damage by this creature also get a poison counter. And menace means only 2 or more creatures can block this. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature tokens with toxic 1, and this creature can't block. And Vishgraz gets +1/+1 for each poison counter your opponents have. Toxic 1 is a lot different than Infect. I think if this was Infect, it would be a lot different. I think these decks were seeking to make poison commanders that were fair. And this is another, I don't want to gang up on one person. I want to spread the poison around, because if I eliminate someone through poison, my commander gets smaller. Again, it's gonna put a giant target on your head. Editing Arya here. I didn't spend a lot of time going into Vishgraz because I just I don't know why. I'm editing this, so it's been like a month since I recorded this. But the access to white for Vishgraz allows you to put a blink package, and the fact that it produces tokens which could be sacrificed, and you're in white and black, you can run maybe a little bit of an aristocrat synergy, or tokens matter over the other Ixhel, where Ixhel's more like I want to hit you and then steal your stuff. That's the difference between these two commanders, mainly. I end up for some reason saying you just want to build this poison, and yeah, I guess, but the fact that it makes tokens, you can blink it, you can just end up basically infinitely comboing with stuff, and then win with poison. It's a different build, is what I'm saying. Honestly, I think Ixhel, sorry. I think Ixhel's the cooler commander. And this one would definitely get more hate at a table. But they're both alright. Next we have Btor, Ancestor's Voice. This is one of the newer commanders for Abzan. For 2, a white, a black, and a green, you get a Spirit Dragon, 3/5, flying, and lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, put a number of 1/1 counters on up to one other target creature you control equal to the amount of life you gained this turn. And you return up to one target creature card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you lost this turn from your graveyard to the battlefield. Alright, so when doing this episode, Btor, I really didn't have a plan for. This was like my first time reading the card itself. But since, having time to boil over on it, it actually would be probably a good pay life, but also lifelink kind of thing. You get stuff like Belladros, Children of Corliss, Toxic Deluge, Anguish Unmaking, all of these powerful life loss effects, and you set them off with life gain, like common life gain effects, And basically your life total stays relatively the same, but you get value out of both of it. And the first trigger where it puts 1/1 counters on stuff, that works really well with lifelink. And so basically you're doing a lifelink kind of build, but also you're paying life with, like, necropotence, the One Ring. Just, it becomes a really good value engine. And I don't think that, had I known that at the time, I would put it at stays in the 99. I'd actually, I think I'd put it in good. Alright, next we have Felothar the Steadfast. For a generic, a white, a black, and a green, you get a human warrior 0/5. With each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have defender, and 3 tap, sacrifice another creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness, and then discard cards equal to its power. This is the other wall commander besides Arcades the Strategist. I am an Arcades fan, so I probably will be harsher on judging this. I'm actually surprised this deck didn't, because it was a defender deck, didn't come with Wall of Shards. Reprint Wall of Shards. It's like a $10 uncommon. And it's only been reprinted on the list. I think this is alright, but it's also a very niche deck. No niche, like I said with the other card that I've already forgot its name. With niche does not necessarily mean it is worse than alright. It just means that it is much more focused on a specific thing. I know it's a popular commander right now, but I think this is a very build around, like, when it's built a very specific way. And also, a lot of the good defenders are blue. And there's not so much of them in black. I do think I am underestimating how much assigning combat damage from toughness. I mean, Doran was considered one of the best commanders for a long time, and it basically had this stat line. I want to say it's niche, but it's all right. Because, like, there's more support for defenders than sagas. So this could easily be any niche, alright, or good. I need to play a better version of that deck. Alright, this is a partner. I saved all the partners for last. So we got Mary, Warden of Isengard, who is a 1/4 for 1, a green, and a white halfling advisor. You have partner with Pippin, Warden of Isengard. This one says, whenever 1 or more artifacts enter the battlefield under your control, you get a 1/1 white soldier with lifelink, and this ability only triggers once each turn. Pippin has partner with Mary. He's a black and a green. This has 1 tap, create a food token. Food tokens are artifacts that have 2 generic tap, sacrifice this, you gain 3 life. Pippin also has tap, sacrifice 4 foods, other creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain haste until end of turn, activate only as a sorcery. Giving things haste is not in Abzan colors, so that's actually interesting. So you get the foods from Pippin, and you get the soldiers for Mary. So, like, you activate Pippin's create a food token, and you get a free soldier with that. The deck's obviously going to be, like, food matters. And once you get enough food, you get a mini overrun effect. I think they're all right. They get overshadowed by Frodo and Sam, which we will see probably next. They're all right. they're I don't listen. I didn't play during Eldraine, so I don't really have a lot of experience with food tokens. Um, so I can't really judge food-based cards. I also didn't play the Lord of the Rings set because I kind of avoid Universes Beyond as a rule. All right, this is the most popular Abzan commander is Frodo and Sam. Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit, is a 1/3 with for white and a black. You get a halfling scout with partner with Sam. Vigilance. Whenever Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit, attacks, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, note this is perfect for food. Then the ring tempts you, and that is an ability that is so complex I don't necessarily remember it. Then if Frodo is your ring bearer and the ring has tempted you 2 or more times this game, you draw a card. So basically you're going to set this up where Frodo is going to just keep drawing you cards. Well, before we judge this, let's look at Sam. Sam, the bestest boy, is a 2/4 for 1 a green and a white with partner with Frodo. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you create a food token, and activated abilities of foods you control cost 1 less to activate. So they're just 1 tap and sacrifice to gain 3 life. Yeah, at the beginning of combat, you make a food, you pay 1 to sacrifice it, and yeah, then you declare attackers and you gain 3 life. The ring tempts you, which makes Frodo more evasive in combat, and you draw a card. That's pretty synergistic, and they're actually very cheap. You can drop Frodo on turn 2, Sam drops on turn 3, and then you can be swinging with Frodo. Granted, you can't be gaining life that turn, but I think, are they a better food combo than Merry and Pippin? I think Merry and Pippin want food more, and I think you can, like, Frodo and Sam, you can it's still going to be a food deck, but like I feel like Frodo and Sam fall under good. Like, they're cheap enough. Yeah. Again, I've never really seen Merry and Pippin, but I have seen Frodo and Sam, and yeah, I think Frodo and Sam are a good commander. All right. Lastly, is the partner pair of Yannik and Nikara. First, we have Nikara, Layer Scavenger for 2 and a black. You get a 2/2 with partner with Yannik. You get Menace, and whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had 1 or more counters on it, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Yeah. Again, we need to judge them together. And then you have Yannik, Scavenger Sentinel, which is a 3/3 Vigilance for 2 a green and a white. It has partner with Nikara, and when Yannik enters the battlefield, exile another creature you control until Yannik leaves the battlefield. If you do, well, I guess it's when you do. Distribute X/1/1 counters among any number of target creatures, where X is the exiled creature's power. I can see what they were going for, especially because this was in the Ikoria. This was the 3rd commander of the Ikoria Precon, which was very much a counters matter. However, this is definitely paled in comparison to the other 2. The fact that this is only when it enters and not like when it attacks, you're basically protecting one of your creatures, and then you're dividing its power, kind of thing. I feel like Yannik is worse than Nikara. I feel like I would run Nikara, like, in the 99, but I wouldn't necessarily run Yannik in the 99. I think Nikara is more broad. But yeah, I'm gonna say this is weird. A partner combo that stays in the 99. I'm probably missing something there, but like, I'm not really impressed with that. If you notice, we don't have a lot of stays in the 99. That's probably because three colors are more designed for being your commander. Yeah, there's our list. It's just my opinion. That's the list. So I may have underestimated how long it takes to film and edit these tier lists. Uh, the original plan was to get all of these done before Lorwyn Eclipsed came out, and since I've gotten two of them done, and it's been like a month, I'm probably not getting that because there's like 30 different color combos that I need to go through. And yeah, so what my current plan is to continue going through them as is. They will release when they release, and then at the end of it, making a here are the commanders I missed. So yeah, that's the current plan. Uh, so I'm not going to make any promises on how long these are going to take, but the expectation is probably like maybe one or two a month. But again, huge asterisk by that. Uh, these take at least 3 hours to edit, and I do not have attention span to do it all in one go. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you next time.